welcome back to another episode of the Not Another Mama podcast. I'm Fanisia.
And this is Ashley.
All right, y'all. So this week we're going to be talking about breastfeeding versus formula feeding.
Yep.
And this is very controversial when it comes to motherhood on so many levels.
Yep.
And it's just crazy because me and Ashley are actually like on both ends of the spectrum. I am formula feeding my baby, and Ashley is a breastfeeding mommy. So we both have our own perspectives on why we chose to do what we did. And then also just giving you all like a couple of our opinions as far as like what people had to say about our decisions. And yeah, so
Right. I think it's important to have this conversation because if you are pregnant or you have been pregnant, y'all know that's like the first thing out of everyone's mouth. Are you going to be breastfeeding? Are you going to be formula feeding? Are you breastfeeding? Are you and everyone has their opinions on it, regardless of your personal situation, what you're going through. And we think it's important to have this conversation, no matter how it's going to be kind of touchy, especially for some of y'all who listen out there who may not agree with everything we say about the matter, but it needs to be had. The conversation needs to be had.
Right. So just to put this out there, I didn't have no intentions of breastfeeding my baby at all. Like when I got pregnant, I mean, I thought about it and I was like, okay, that should be fine. It should be okay. But then as I got like deeper and deeper into my pregnancy and I was like looking at certain things, breastfeeding looks so stressful and it seems like it's just very detrimental to a lot of women for various reasons. I mean, of course, you have a couple of women who tried to breastfeed their babies and then their milk supply all of a sudden like didn't produce as much as they thought, so they had to turn to formula. Or some people's milk supply didn't come in at all, and then you have women who are overproducing, and it's like, okay, you're getting all these issues from two breasts.
Very true. And like, I don't know about you when you were pregnant, but I feel like my breasts had a mind of their own, right? Like, whereas before I was pregnant, they were girls. We were like a team. What? How's the drum line go? One body, one mind, one soul. Whatever that shit is. Like, all we're on the same mission.
Oh my god.
And then I got pregnant and my boobs were like, we had this discussion. We're going to do something different than what we've always done. And they didn't even include me with this conversation. Like, so y'all, like, I will say, even though I had made the decision that I'm going to breastfeed, that decision was not like set upon lightly because I knew I was going to get a C-section. I was like, well, I want to do something that I don't know, I guess makes me feel like I'm on this pregnancy, childbirthing experience, like in a normal way. So I feel like, so I couldn't deliver my baby through like the birthing canal. So I was like, I had to do C-section, but I wanted to at least try breastfeeding, That makes sense.
It does. No, that makes perfect sense, child. I just knew, like, as I got deeper into my pregnancy, I didn't prepare to breastfeed because I was just like, okay, I was looking up certain formulas that are reminiscent of breast milk and things like that. And there are formulas out there that does that. Like they give you the impression of breast milk or whatever. But then people were saying that formulas were changing and the ingredients that are in certain formulas were changing and stuff like that. And I'm just like, well, god damn, okay. So what's gonna happen? What am I gonna do? But I mean, I just ended up using the Gentle Ease Infamil formula because when he was in a hospital, he was on Infamil Neuro Pro, and it was the liquid form that they gave to them.
Oh yeah,
And
pre-made.
Like it's in a bottle. All you have to do is just put the nipple on there and give it to him. And it was a really, really good formula. You know, it wasn't messing with his bowels. He wasn't constipated. He was going pretty well. He was full or whatever you can think of in regards to that. And it's like I left it alone. Like I didn't think about breastfeeding too much until let me think. I got to the hospital, had my baby. They had a lactation consultant come in the room or whatever and try me on this hospital grade breast pump or whatever. And funny story, child, I didn't know that bottle feeding still meant breastfeeding. I thought bottle feeding meant I'm gonna put my baby on formula.
Yeah. Right.
And I was like, okay, why are you trying to make me breastfeed? I don't want to breastfeed. Okay, but whatever. So yeah, girl, we did that, and it was a black lady who did my consultation or whatever, and I was just like, okay, it makes perfect sense. Okay, all right, I can do this. But girl, like getting up every 3 hours and trying to pump after you just had a baby vaginally, I was so exhausted. Like I was tired. And then that epidural was still whooping my ass. So it was like, I know I'm not gonna get up every 3 hours and start pumping because you have to wash the parts every single time that you use them. So it's like when you get ready to start pumping, you gotta put the shit together. You gotta attach the shit to your breast. You gotta sit there for 30 minutes and let the shit pull on your breast, child. And I'm just like, and you can't lay down when you're pumping. You have to sit up. And I'm falling asleep doing all this stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. And I also bought a breast pump. Like, I think it's called Mom for You or something like that. So they're like the portable breast things
Well,
that
you
you
can put them
wear.
in the cup of your bra, and then do the job.
Yes. So I bought those. I bought those to the hospital and I'm just thinking, okay, well, I can like she can teach me how to use these. But they were like pushing me towards the hospital grade one. And that was a red flag for me because it was like, how do you know I want to buy that pump? How do you know that I'm not already comfortable with what I have?
Right.
So I didn't start using those until I got back home, which I still had a pretty accurate milk supply then. But child, after a while, I just legit gave up on it. Like I did. I just gave up on it. It was too much work.
Breastfeeding in the beginning, I will say, it's its own full-time fucking job. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like you say, you got to clean the parts, and then you got to devote time away from your kid or time away from your family to actually pump. You know, and you're right. You're sitting there sometimes like 25. In the beginning, I felt like I was pumping 35 minutes, you know? And so that's a lot of time out of your day when you're doing that multiple times a day. Um, it really is one of those things you have to sit down and think about, like if it's something you want to do.
Right. Child, I don't know. Like I just knew that breastfeeding was not going to be for me. Like the time. It's legit, it's this that's the only thing. It's the time.
Yeah. Yep.
And Farrison is a big baby. So if I would have breastfed Farrison, there's no telling how painful
Yeah.
that would have been for me because my baby eats.
He eats.
Okay. So he's eating 8 ounces now in a bottle with cereal. Oh,
Sucking your boobs dry every single.
like, son, you gotta, like, I know my body's gonna produce milk, but still, son, you gotta leave mama with something.
Right.
You gotta leave mama with something. Like, seriously, you have to. Because Jesus, like, why?
Why?
So yeah, child, I knew it wasn't for me.
You know, I can respect that. Uh, I can respect that. I don't want to offend anyone. If I definitely want to offend you, but I feel sorry for moms who have such a rough go with breastfeeding, right? Because we're kind of sold this idea about breastfeeding being magical. Like it's so easy. Like it's
Mhm.
something that comes natural. And I have enjoyed breastfeeding, Jabari. I have found a process that works for me. But I do remember in the beginning thinking, like, this is a lot of fucking pressure. This is
Yeah.
way too much pressure. And I think
Yep.
that gets to a lot of women in the beginning, right? Like, who wants to
Yep.
deal with that? Like, why, and especially when you have a choice. It's not like it's breastfeeding or nothing. It's breastfeeding
Mhm.
or you can use formula, right?
Right.
And so I do have this kind of a small contempt for the breastfeeding community, like the breastfeeding camp that wants to push breastfeeding because sometimes there's not a lot of wiggle room. It's like if you're not breastfeeding, you're not doing what's best. Breast is best. You know, like how many times have you
Girl.
heard that? And like again, I breastfeed. I know what the scientific data says. Okay, I know what it means. I know all these things. But again, I didn't breastfeed for those reasons. I breastfed because I wanted to feel more like a birthing mother. And I can't even say I did it because I wanted to be closer to my son. You're no less closer to your son because you
Right.
auto milk formula fed him. So I can't even say that was the reason. It was purely selfish, and I I made the distinct choice like I was going to breastfeed, and I think I think because I knew if I couldn't breastfeed I would be using formula anyway. I think I just didn't have that pressure in my head either way. And now that I think about it, the more I think about the decision to breastfeed, the more I realize that I it's not that deep, like I just realize it's not that fucking
It's not. People are
deep.
making it more than what it really is. Like,
Exactly. And
child.
again, I understand like the medical benefits of breastfeeding. There's this just as I understood, there are some things that Jabari missed out on by not being birthed down like the canal. Like I know there's like all
Mhm.
those microbes that babies are covered in once they go through the actual vaginal canal and birth. So I knew that
Mhm.
Jabari wasn't going to, get that. I
Mhm.
understood that, but I also understood that on the other end that he was going to, be breastfed and there were things there that he was going to get. In the hospital, it was we also had a lactation coach, and she was kind of like rough. She was like a real coach. She's like, put that pillow on the side, hike it up. You got to get him close, put him under there, get in there. She was really intense. And I was just like, like, let's just calm down. Like again, we're breastfeeding.
Right.
We're not trying out for the Olympic breastfeeding team, like calm down.
Girl.
So that it was like really intense in the beginning. And I remember telling my sister, like, because the nurses every time they came into the room, it's like, have you pumped, have you pumped, have you pumped? And at one point I said, I'm not pumping here. I'm not pumping. When it was time to feed Jabari, I'm going to put him on my boob, and if he doesn't take the boob, then we'll make him up a bottle. They At my hospital, they gave you a choice of using formula or they had the mothers who lactate so much they produce so much milk,
Oh.
milk. And so I said,
Mhm.
he'll drink some of the donated milk, but I'm going to keep trying on my breast. I'm done with this pumping because it was just that was traumatic. I just did not want to. My legs were swollen. I was like
Mhm.
tired all the
Mhm.
time. There was Jabari there. People were in and out of the room. I just could not get comfortable getting the headspace.
Right.
I just didn't pump. It
Right.
wasn't until I got home and I got comfortable that I started to take pumping seriously. But I'm letting you guys know something right now. I don't pump anymore. I pump probably for the first 2.5, 3 months of Jabari's life. I don't pump. I just if he's hungry, I put on my boob. If we're out in public, I put him on my boob. Like I have a little cover up. It's like that's what we do. I I just I will say the breastfeeding from my boob has not been a bad experience for me. I absolutely love it. But the pump, my pump is collecting dust, and I think I want to burn it after I'm done with all this. I absolutely hate that fucking pump. So I hate it. I hate the sound it makes. I hate having to sit it with it like, and my pumps are like little cow horse. So like it's like this, and you got to hold them up, right? Like you got to hold them up.
Girl.
So I'm putting the TV. Here I am in the room by myself, the TV on. I'm holding the bump. Like it's a lot of this, a lot of this. And I remember one time, I don't know what I was doing. I had put the horn down, like it was connected to the bottle, and I guess I didn't set it down like on the chair right, and it tipped over, and all that milk just evaporated into the cushion of the chair I was sitting in. And I was just like, that all that work I did was just
See, that's another thing. I just about to ask you, like, have you ever had a moment where you legit spilled milk? And is it true, like, when they say that when, like, moms spill milk, like, it's the most detrimental thing that could ever happen to a mom?
I did not cry, but my mom and dad can tell you because I was at home, I was in their house, and I was in the bedroom pumping, and like I seriously yelled "fuck," and so like I got up and mom said she had jumped up and dad was like, "Oh shit." And so like I go out in the room, mom's like, "What happened?" I was like, I just spilled like four ounces of Jabari's milk on the couch. And mom and dad are like, because they knew how much it was to pump. Like this is knew the process and everything. And dad was like, "I'm so sorry."
Wow.
Like it is new. And dad's like, did any of it get saved? I'm like, no. It just evaporated into the couch. And so that was just, I was pissed off the whole day. Like my whole day was ruined after that. I was maybe 2, 3 months into being a mom. And yeah, it was just not a good experience. So, and I pumped a few times after that. Um, but to be honest with you, I stopped. I don't bump anymore. As a matter of fact, I am just like this full transparency. I pump, but I also use formula now. I do both.
Oh,
Mhm.
really?
Yep, I have no shame. I'm like, when Jabari's with me, it's him and I use my boob. I breastfeed him. But my mom babysits him 1 day a week, and because I don't pump, I don't have a store of milk. I don't. I mean, I'm just not one of those moms. Like the moms, I will say, hats off to the moms who are able to pump in abundance, and they have all that milk that they freeze, all
Yes,
those
that they
freezers.
freeze
Yes, and
and
they have milk projected out to the next year. Like, good for you. I mean, I'm just not. I was just not that type of like pumper. So Jabari has formula, and we are a big fan of the Similac, the sensitive stomach Similac. If y'all out there listening, you know what? It's the one with the orange label. Uh, Jabari likes that 'cause it tends to be a bit sweeter, I guess, than Infamil. I don't know for sure. I'm getting this from mom. Mom said the Infamil didn't taste as sweet as the Similac. I'm like, well, go ahead, Sylvia, go up. At least someone's tasting the milk. But like, but he likes the Similac. And we also do like the liquid kind too, Phoenicia, where you just put the nipple, like shake that
okay.
shit up, put the nipple on top of that, and hand it to him. But yeah, we're doing both, and I gotta say, I don't. In some respects, the formula has been better for him. I do notice that formula is heavier,
Yeah.
he tends to sleep longer on formula, um,
Mhm.
and he gets really full. And then the days that I do decide to feed him mostly formula, his feedings are further apart than breast milk because breast milk has to tend
Mm.
a bit thin. Um, and nowadays, like the doctors and everyone tell you, yeah, formula isn't exactly like breast milk, but it's a damn close replica of it, right? It's a damn close
Right.
copy of breast milk. And so like the benefits of formula, you just um, I think you just can't deny that formula is a good way to
It's
feed.
like a to each his own.
Yeah,
To each his own.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree. Um, there are some things about breast milk that I think I find kind of magical. I think that there was this like rash that broke out on Jabari's face, and you know how babies get like that acne a few weeks after they've been exposed to like our air. And so like
Mhm.
I was just dip like his little face rag into some of my breast milk when I was pumping and just like dab it on his face, and like I could see the red go down immediately. Um, and then I also think like breast milk is good for um
You can
like
bathe them
yeah,
in breast milk.
you can bathe them in breast milk for sure. And the thing about breast milk I think is really cool that no one really talks about is that it changes as the baby grows. So he with breast milk he won't actually drink more of it as he grows because the consistency of my breast milk will change. It'll become a little richer, a little more richer for him, a little richer, a little more rich. I gotta think of my my sentence structures. But anyways, like the milk itself become like thicker and it becomes richer for him. So he'll still be drinking the same amount, but it'll give him more nutrition. It'll be thicker. It'll be more filling as he gets older because it's the breast milk is also changing. Any of y'all moms that's out there, and you guys are scientists and nurses and shit, please don't quote me on that.
Yes.
Someone sends a DM with the correct information, but I'm
Yes.
sure that they said your breast milk transform and changes itself as your baby gets older.
I believe that though. That seems like something that's very like believable. I believe that it does change as the baby gets older.
Yeah.
In my honest opinion, I think once the first time you do it, they call it that stuff is colostrum. Is it?
Colostrum, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So child, whoever is watching or listening to this episode, please don't kill me after I say this. Okay. So when I came back home, I did the pumping. I pumped. And when I pumped, I had a pretty good amount of colostrum. So I collected it and I put it in one of his bottles. And I was just doing this because I was like, okay, I just want to see like how much like milk I get and if my supply is consistent afterwards. So child, it's been like a couple of days after I did this, or maybe even a day. And girl, so I went in the refrigerator and I looked at it and I was like, ugh, I don't like how that looks. And I just poured it out.
Oh, bitch. Oh, girl. Oh my gosh. My heart. My heart. Nisha.
I poured it out because I was like, is that how it's supposed to look? Is that really it? But not thinking I could have given it to him or whatever. And then once he drunk it, I could have tried to get him to latch on and he could have actually like made the supply come out even more. Child, I was thinking about none of that because I was just so gun ho on. I really do not want to breastfeed, and now it's like I have to psych myself out even more seeing this stuff for the first time, and it's like,
Oh my God.
oh, that's how it looks, girl. I poured it out. I poured it out,
Send some hate mail. I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my bones.
girl.
See
I
that? Why
poured
no
it
one
out.
told you that in the hospital? Like that, they call that liquid gold, that colostrum. You know, like, why didn't I
Yes.
tell you about that? Like you need to hold on to it. You know, even if you freeze it and don't use it until a few months down the road. You know, like they should have told you.
Even while I was in the hospital, to be quite honest, I don't even know if I was fully listening to the lady because she was just, it was so much information. And that's another thing. Like, I don't feel like after a mother gives birth that you should be shoving information down her throat.
Yeah.
When it comes to breastfeeding or just anything in general, give her some time because I like guarantee you an hour or 24 hours after she has had this baby, she wants to rest.
That's all I want to do.
That's it. I don't want to think about shit else except for the health of my baby. I understand, breastfeeding is a part of that. But if y'all can put him on formula for right now until I'm good, like something, because I'm not even all the way there fully. And I'm still high from this epidural, child.
Yep.
So y'all are really trying to shove this stuff down my throat and I'm not barely but anywho, so girl, she was just telling me all the things and I'm just like, okay, all right, I'm gonna sit here and try to pump.
Right.
And they don't tell you how uncomfortable it is at first. Child, the different sizes of the flanges or whatever the things is that goes over your nipples, like they don't, like all those things, the different sizes, you have to buy the right size and make sure that it's like pulling correctly, because if it's pulling incorrectly, then you're gonna be in pain. And
Right.
girl, not knowing that, I definitely could have went to the I could have went to the nursery and I could have legit breastfed Farrison, but he was in a NICU because of like the fluid situation. He had ingested too much fluid and he wasn't feeding, like bottle feeding yet. He was getting fed through his little tube. So
Right. Oh,
that's
baby.
another thing that I was kind of like, okay, so how am I going to breastfeed him? And he's already getting these things through his little tube and it was in his nose or whatever. So I'm just like, how would that work? And I didn't want to like disturb any of that because I didn't know like how that would work. Like, would y'all take that out or would y'all stop whatever y'all were giving him through this tube and allow me to breastfeed him then? So it was like it's a lot of stuff that I'm thinking about now that I probably could have asked about while I was in the hospital, but child, it's like once again those things you don't know as a first time mom. Like nobody told me
Right.
about any of these things. There was no hey, you can still come down to the nursery and, breastfeed if you would like or any of that. Even if he's not taking a bottle right now, you can still like breastfeed him on your actual breast. No.
No. No, we talked about this in a past episode too, where everyone thinks like as soon as you have a baby, you become like an all-knowing mom.
Right.
Like they don't have to tell you shit because you're a mom now. And of course, you're going to everything that you need to know as it pertains to your baby. It was like, well, that comes in time. But when I'm sitting in a hospital bed on pain medication, tired, worried, like you don't think about these like I don't think my brain made leaps of logic until I had been home for almost a month. So like right
Mhm.
after being in that hospital bed, it's just like right after pregnancy birth, excuse me, and then being in a hospital bed and then like you're saying, all the information is shoved at you. And then the expectations again are so great for breastfeeding and feeding your
Right.
kid that it's all a little too much, you know?
It is.
It
It's
is
a lot. It's
it's
information overload.
information overload. It really is. It really is. And you don't and also too, you don't know how to say that. It's really difficult to even say that because you don't even know that you're being overloaded in a sense, right?
Right.
You don't even know that like I said, the lactation coach who was really forceful. I mean, she wasn't like it wasn't painful, like she wasn't like being rough, but just her demeanor was
It was aggressive.
was aggressive, and no one tells you can say to everybody back off. No one tells you that you can tell these nurses and they're like, I need a moment. I'm not ready for this. I didn't,
Right.
you know, you just
Right.
don't know.
At all. And that like all knowing thing, like mothers just know everything. First time moms, child, I don't care how much research you do, you're never going to be prepared.
No,
Like when it comes down to it and when you actually go to the hospital, majority of that shit is going to go out of the window.
out the damn window.
It really is
Out
because
the window.
anything can change at an instant.
In it.
Like Ashley, with your situation, you were prepping for a vaginal birth, but you had to do a C-section. Like there's so many things like that you can have. There's so many things you can have planned, but one thing goes like out the window, and everything else follows suit.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like a domino effect. You're like, well, shit, I'm just trying to get through this moment.
Right. So, child, yeah, I don't care what nobody say. No matter how prepared you try to be, is that one thing can happen, and it's like, child, forget it. I just want my baby to get here happy and healthy, and I just want to make sure I'm okay. Like when you sew me back together again,
Please
I
make
want to be
sure
okay.
everything is back where it was before you open me up. Okay. I don't want shit jiggling around
Exactly.
in there. I just need you to sew me back up and put me back whole again and give my baby and
Listen,
make sure we're okay. Yeah.
right. So, let me see. Yeah, child, breastfeeding journey. I have had my days where I felt guilty. Even like now, I still have my little guilt moments where it's like, dang, I wonder how it would have been to actually breastfeed my baby. Because even to a point where I was visiting with a friend of mine, me and her had our babies around the same time, and she's breastfeeding her baby. And just watching her like go through the motions of breastfeeding stuff like that, it really looks like it's enjoyable for her.
Yeah.
And she had these lactation cookies and she was doing like her mother's tea or mother's milk tea or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's cute. I wish I could do that. And she told me, how long has it been since you tried? And I was like, I haven't tried in like 2 months. or whatever. Because at this point, I think Farrison was 4 months then, I believe. And I hadn't tried breastfeeding since. And she was like, here, take some of this tea and take some of these lactation cookies or whatever. And she was like, start eating the lactation cookies right now. And then when it's time to feed him again, or when it's, whatever, try pumping once you finish the bag. So I did that. I drank some tea. And child, I was sitting in my bed with these pumps. And when I say like a little drip of milk, it was a little drip of milk that was coming through, and I was like, I don't know if I am I leaning right in order for the milk to like collect in the thing, because after I stopped, like it seemed like all the milk was in the little thing, and it wasn't like actually draining
Yeah,
down
you're right.
into the situation. So I'm like, okay, I'm producing milk, but maybe it's how it's positioned on my breast. It's not positioned right. So, child, she asked me afterwards, she was like, hey, did you try? And I was like, yeah, but it ain't really like do much. And she was just like, okay, well, at least you tried. And I was like, damn, like, I low key want to start producing milk for my baby now.
You ain't missing a damn thing. You ain't missing a damn thing. Oh
But
my
I done spent all this money. I done spent money on a pump, child. Like, legit, I bought this pump when? I believe it was like a couple of days before I was. Wait, was it? Yeah, it was a couple of days before I was about to give birth to Farrison. And I had bought this pump. It was like $100 and some dollars. Like, I believe like 109 or something like that. And
yeah.
I bought it, girl, and I bought the nipple cream. I still got all this stuff in my nightstand drawer.
Okay.
Nipple cream and bags.
And, and I felt like when in the beginning I used all that stuff. It was so important, right? Like, so like I was so determined to do the whole pumping thing. So we had the same insurance. I think we had the same insurance. We're for the same company. So they
Mhm.
give you. Did you get like the email saying you can get your pump for free? But if you want to upgrade, you end up paying like about $100 or so.
No.
So
But
like,
I know somebody said that your insurance can pay for your pump. I
mhm,
know that.
mhm.
I
Yeah,
heard that.
the insurance paid for the pump, and then I wanted like a premium one because you like a one with like a heavier suction, so I ended up paying an extra
Mhm.
outside of insurance for it. But then they sent
Mhm.
it. But like I said, the first couple of days of pumping were just brutal, and then I finally took to like breastfeeding when I just put Jabari directly on my boob, and there had been some concern in the hospital for me because I had a C-section. So all the
Mhm.
doctors and all the nurses like, you may not be able to breastfeed, Ashley, or it may take a little longer for your milk to come in because, again, because you didn't birth your child um, naturally, that like, there's cues your body don't get, to start producing milk apparently. But
Mm.
no, I once I stopped with the pump, I put him directly on my boob. It like the milk just like it was there. I'm like so blessed that it just kind of came out. And then, I was leaking all over the damn place, boobs swollen all the damn time. And like I could definitely tell I need to like pump or feed your bar because that shit hurts. It's like
Yeah.
imagine having to go to the bathroom, but like on your boobs, like it's like this great pressure. And
Girl.
yeah, yeah, and that's one thing too. Everyone like people say like, oh, breastfeeding can be uncomfortable. No, it hurts. It's not uncomfortable. It can hurt. It can be painful, especially when Jabari was just learning how to latch on as well because he's never done that before either. So it's like we have to find the right position. He's constantly trying to latch on, and I mean he's constantly gumming my nipple, and he's constantly it's like you get raw, and I remember putting like some cooling cream on my nipples, but it felt like it was kind of itchy too, and the cream didn't help with the itch, and it was just like
Mm.
it was all these things. I didn't My nipples didn't crack, they don't bleed, they didn't bleed, but they did get,
What?
yeah,
Bleed?
yeah, your nipples can bleed sometimes because like it's so manipulated, by your baby trying to latch on and by them sucking and like them like tugging your nipple down and wetting your nipple up, and it's like your nipples get worn down, they get chapped, yeah, so they can get dry, cracked, and bleeding. Even one woman, this is all over social media, I think it was last year, earlier this year, where one woman said her nipples kind of like fell off. They just got so brittle. Like they just I won't say fell off, y'all. That's being a little dramatic, but
Girl, I was
like the skin has got so brittle. The skin has got so bad. Like your nipples were just worn down, like to nubs almost. So like it could be. I can understand that people were like, "No, I don't want to go through any of that," you know. Um,
see, that
yeah,
was just that's just reaffirmed because ain't no way, child. Listen, I was so convinced that I was really going to try to breastfeed my baby child. I even took out my nipple ring.
oh, that's right. You have a nipple. You had nipple pierced. Yeah, you were ready. You were
I was
ready.
ready, child. I had one nipple ring remaining because I took the other one out like years ago, I believe. And I just had one remaining. So, and I was like, oh, if I take this out, that means I'm actually a mom. It's happening.
Yeah,
So, girl, I took out my last little nipple ring. I was like, because I don't know, like one breast may like produce more or whatever, or he needs to have some options. So, child, I took that nipple ring out thinking I'm really about to breastfeed.
uh,
So now it's like, dang, I just took out the last remaining nipple piercing, and I'm never getting my nipple pierced ever again because that is a pain that I would not wish on anybody.
I did no, because between Jabari's like starting to bite down now, and the thought of piercing my nipples along with that pain, no, I can't see.
Yes, child. That, like, I was like, nope, it's done. I ain't ever getting it done ever again. So that's it. I done took it out. It's gonna stay out.
It's gonna stay. Yeah.
Girl, but I took it out because I thought that I was gonna be breastfeeding my little nugget, and child, I ain't even do nothing, child. I can't tell you how many times I done thought about like trying again because I believe with your milk supply, like it never goes away, like it's still there
Really?
if you even if you don't like breastfeed for a certain amount of time, you can still try to produce milk. But
Interesting.
child, I was like, my milk ain't no way. Like I know my milk done dried up without the cabbage in the bra. It just done shriveled on up.
Just gave up the ghost. It's gone, huh?
Exactly. It just done shriveled on up, child, because I just stopped. But I do have my days where I'm like, oh, I want to try it. Like, because I don't know, like, I just want to see what it looks like for my breast to just protrude milk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just want to see that. Girl, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That, I will say it's an experience, right? It's an experience. It's
Hmm.
something that you have to go through to like fully grasp. I think like the just all that it entails. My boobs don't leak anymore. I
Hmm.
guess like they say your boobs swell up, they engorge so much those first few months because you and the
Hmm.
baby are trying to
Hmm.
work out like feeding schedules and feeding habits. And then once you get into a
Hmm.
rhythm and your body understands how much your baby actually needs to drink, like it makes that milk accordingly. That's why they say the more you pump or the more you breastfeed, the more you produce. But I just produce what I need for him. And I
Hmm.
imagine if I were to pick up pumping and like do all like the lactation cookies and do the mama's milk and all that stuff, I would probably produce more where I would, you know, leak. But I don't leak, thank goodness. Like I said, the biggest hurdle we have right now is like he's in the process of teething, so he likes to bite down on my nipple and use it as like a teething ring. I don't know what to call it, like a teething toy. So, and also like I know folks who breastfeed their babies like up until like 2 years, 2.5, 3 years. Y'all, I
Ain't no
don't,
way.
girl, ain't no fucking way. This no, no. Jabari is lucky if he makes it. As soon as Jabari cuts his first tooth, I think that's it. I think I'm just gonna be doing exclusive formula. I'm gonna be sad about it because y'all breastfeeding to me again is easy in the sense and that it's right here on me.
Mhm.
I don't have to like go
Mhm.
make the bottle in the middle of the night, y'all. When he wakes up and he gets hungry, I can just roll over and be like, boop, move in your mouth, and we both know go back to sleep kind of
Mhm.
situation. So like it's easy because it's convenient. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, I was about to say the convenience.
It's
That's
convenient.
another
It's convenient.
thing.
I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
miss it, but like as soon as his teeth break his gums and his ass wants to bite down my nipple, that's it. That's it. He's going to be like,
Not you evicting your baby.
he got to go. He got to get off the boob as soon as he cuts some teeth. Because I'm not, and I had no plans anyways to breastfeed past a year because again, I just don't. Again, I'm not trying to judge. You know, y'all moms out there, y'all do you do what works for you. It's the world is big and the world is wide, and we can accommodate for all different types of mothering styles. But fuck that, I am not breastfeeding my kid to 2, 3 years old. Not even. I just
Girl, it's some people who still produce milk for their child and they like 4 and 5. Who is about to be doing all that for a toddler?
girl. Until I get their ass up and go to the refrigerator and get their own drink at that.
Bring me something while you in there. How about that? Girl, absolutely
You know
not.
what? Oh, question
Mm-mm.
for you real quick. How you think about what you think about cow's milk? Will you be giving Farrison like milk when he turns a year old, like cow's milk?
That I don't know. If I do, I'll start him on something that's like silk milk.
Okay.
I'll probably do something like that. But I don't know if I would actually do like the regular like vitamin D milk or 2% milk. Cause child, I seen that once before with one of my friends. And I was like, dang, y'all giving y'all baby milk out of the jug. And she looked like she all of like 8 months.
Oh shit! Really? Oh.
And I'm just like, damn, she getting okay.
Oh wow. Okay. I thought we had to wait a year or two, or a year at least for cow's
Child,
milk.
she look like she a good 8 months. She don't even
Oh wow. And they have her on cow's milk.
girl. So yeah, I don't know. I think I would probably start him on something like the silk milk or whatever. Cause
Okay.
yeah, I don't know about cow's milk. Cause I don't know how his stomach is too. That's the thing. Because right now he's on gentle ease formula.
Mhm.
So yeah, and cow's milk, I don't know if that's gonna tear him up or not.
Right.
So just easing him into that. But yeah, I'm not opposed. So
Hey, baby.
we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, like most things, and yeah, it's experimentation, right? Just experiment with shit and see what works and what doesn't work. Right.
Exactly. Exactly. Cause I really truly believe even with breast milk, it's so many incentives with breast milk. Like you said, the convenience of it, and then the fact that you know where the milk is coming from, is your own supply. So there's no like added things, no added ingredients. It's just pure raw breast milk. And another thing is like the cost. Like you don't have to pay for shit
Right.
except for like the bottles or the bags
Yeah.
or your nipple cream or whatever the stuff you use. Versus with formula, like I'm buying formula for Farrison every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
formula
I
is
mean,
pretty penny. Formula, you can take out a second mortgage to get some formula because formula
girl,
is expensive. My
but
goodness, it's so unfair.
listen, Fred, me being me, when he first got home, they sent him home with like I can't tell you how many like boxes of that liquid formula.
Mhm.
They sent him home with so much of that. They was like, "Here, take it all," and I was like,
Okay.
"Take all the formula, child." So once he got through all of that, then I went to Target and I was looking for the same formula, which is the Enfamil Neuro Pro, and it's in the gold bottle and it's the liquid kind.
Mhm.
Girl, to buy boxes of that at Target was like $24 for just like six
Yep.
of those containers. So I was like, oh shit. And as I like started to buy that, I was like, yeah, no, boo, we gonna have to put you on some powder because ain't no way.
No way. Ain't no way.
None. And
Ain't-
then after that, I just started to look at off brand formula because even I don't care what nobody say, name brand or off brand. If you look at the ingredients,
There.
it's the exact same shit. It really is. It's the exact same stuff. So
And sometimes those on-brand companies purposely make off-brand formulas, so they're coming out the same company off the same conveyor belt. It's just different
mhm,
labeling. So that it makes
exactly.
it affordable for people. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, girl, I done switched over to powder formula. The same. I started with the off brand for the NeuroPro, but then I switched him over to the Gentle Ease because the
Mhm.
Gentle Ease seemed to work a lot better.
Mhm.
So I started doing that, and I just figured out if I buy the biggest container of formula, that lasts me longer than doing the liquid,
Yeah.
and it's cheaper and more cost effective. So like I said, I buy formula for him every 2 weeks, but I kind of feel like I'd rather do that because the amount of formula that I get, I can always stock up on it because it's like $35 for like 96 ounces.
Okay.
So I'm just like,
That's good.
who can beat that? So 30, $35 or $40 for 96 ounces of formula. And it's actually, I have a Sam's membership, child. Mothers, please get a Sam's Club membership because it's going to save your life. Okay. So I got a membership at Sam's and I get the Members Mark Gentle Ease formula for him. And I believe child, don't quote me on the ounces. I don't even think it's 96, but it's like 50 ounces or something like that. Like it's huge. So I just get one of those every
Mhm.
2 weeks. And then if I want to get an extra one, I get an extra one and I just have it
Just have it.
because I budgeted for it. So I
Mhm.
just put the money aside because I know that he's going to need milk. So I just buy it.
Right.
And he has it and he never runs out of milk.
There you
And
go.
plus he's on baby food too. So
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
child cost is another thing. But I don't I don't know. I don't mind spending the money on the formula because it's nothing is happening to him. Like he's perfectly healthy. He loves his bottles. I can mix in his little baby food with it. Like for breakfast, I'll put some
Yes.
bananas in
Yep.
his milk. So if he doesn't eat the bananas by itself, let's just say he has some left over from the previous day, I'll put the remainder in his bottle and I shake it up real good. It's nice and warm. He drinks it. He's full. He sleeps well. So it's like, girl, why change?
Why change it?
Breast milk? Who?
Right. Right. Again, it is what works. And I think people need to understand that it's what works. And I think it's important for new moms to understand that they're like, don't put any extra like qualifiers on breastfeeding versus, formula. If you breastfeed, good for you. And if you have to use formula, good for you. Don't add the
Right.
extra bullshit like, am I a good mom? Am I nourishing my kid? Your kid is nourished either way. Your kid nourishes. And
Right.
another like meme that goes around like um I feel like it's a very witty, just fun way of looking at the situation. It was like, I breastfed my kid, you formula fed your kid. They both eat dirt on the park in the playground at lunchtime.
Uh-huh.
Like that. It's like, well, yeah, that's exactly. They're both, like this whole debate about breast milk. Like, yeah, your baby be more intelligent if you breastfeed. That's no, that is not.
Stupid.
That is that's nonsense. That is
Girl.
absolute nonsense. And then like again, the kids kind of all end up in the same place in the day in the park, eating that nasty ass sand, and then crying about it when you tell them no.
Exactly.
It's
Girl, I can't tell you how many times somebody has tried to insert their opinions on the fact that I wanted to formula feed my baby. People was just like, oh, you should at least do it for 6 months and then move on to something else. And then, girl, I even had a man to tell me, girl, get that boy some breast milk. Put that man on that breast.
yeah,
Excuse me, you're a grown ass man, and
bro,
I don't even fucking know you.
shut the hell up.
Girl, like I'm just minding my business in the barbershop and I'm talking, me and my barber are having a conversation about this because me and my barber are cool.
Mm-hmm.
And who the hell told your ass to insert your opinion on my breast?
A
Because I was
complete
telling my
stranger's breath,
barber,
you know.
girl, like I was telling my barber, like he already knew that I wasn't gonna breastfeed Farrison or whatever. Child, you might as well just call my barber Farrison's uncle at this point because he knows every single thing about my baby. But he was just he was telling me or asking me like how the process was going with the formula. I was telling him, and then his client was just like, "Girl, give that man that breast." Excuse me.
It's kind of gross. It's really gross, actually. Shut up, dude.
Give that man that breast. And then he like proceeds to say, you know, boys who breastfeed on their moms, they stay close to their moms or stuff like that. They don't like
It's just
how do you say it?
my data. Can I see some scientific data for this? Can I see some sources? Or he's pulling shit out of your ass. Like, shut the hell up, dude.
Girl, I was like, okay. But then in the back of my mind, that guilt started to set in. It was like, damn, should I be breastfeeding my baby? But then at the same time, it's like, sorry, you're like really making me feel uncomfortable. So please stop.
You go around commenting on random people's like women's breasts like all the time. Like, shut the hell up.
Exactly. Like,
You know?
sir, my breast, my business.
Right.
Why are you trying to tell me what to do with my breast? And you're a grown ass man.
You
Like, stay
go,
over there. And then he proceeds to say, well, I'm a breastfed baby.
who
Congratulations.
cares? Who cares? Who cares? Like, who asked you? Really? Who in the hell asked you? Like, people are so confident and so comfortable sharing unsolicited advice, especially when it comes to breastfeeding versus formula fit. Like, no one asked y'all. Seriously, you know?
Y'all be stressing people the fuck out. And some of y'all need to shut the hell up. Like,
Every
just
episode, we tell somebody to shut the hell up. It stands every single episode. Shut the hell up.
please,
You know?
just stop. Just if the person you're talking to didn't ask for your opinion in regards to that, then don't. Unless they start the conversation on it and they like warrant some type of advice for that. Other than that, don't say shit about somebody should and shouldn't be doing with their baby when it comes to the breastfeeding and formula process.
Right.
Like, granted, when I left Tucson, right before I left Tucson, when I had my anatomy scan for Ferris, and the person who did my anatomy scan to this day, I remember her name. Her name is Jennifer. So sweet. Jennifer, if you're watching this, girl, hey. But I was telling her about formula feeding my baby. She was like, you do what you want to do. That is your decision. I ended up having to formula feed my baby because my milk supply didn't come in, as I wanted to. I felt, a little guilty about it, but then afterwards it was like, this is the best fucking thing I could have ever done because my baby is still getting nourishment. Like, he's still growing. He's still developing as he should. And the people who tried to make me feel bad about not breastfeeding, like, I told them to go to hell. And I was like, okay. As Jennifer said,
Go to
go to hell.
Go to hell. And if you're listening, you're one of those folks who we all know the one mom who just has to give the unsolicited advice.
Girl.
And don't be that person. Just, literally
Please
bite your
don't.
tongue. No one needs your opinion. Your non-expert opinion, I should say, about the matter. It's uncalled for, only because it feeds like moms are already pressured so fucking much, and then
Yes.
you tell a mom
Yes.
like, you really should be breastfeeding. That does something to a mom where she should be focusing on the well-being of her kid. Now she's like, I'm a terrible mom because I'm not breastfeeding. Like, that takes something out of someone's heart. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
Your unsolicited opinion about anything. Like, if it's solicited, have at it. Be gentle, be kind. But
Well, why don't you breastfeed the baby instead? Here, take him. Here, take it.
take this damn baby. You feed me on damn self. Shit. Right?
Girl.
Oh, it really is one of the situations. Like, it's so much thrown at mothers. And I'm a fan of both, y'all. I want to put up there. I breastfeed my kid now, but y'all, I just said it. I'm also feeding him with formula. I'm a fan of both of it. And there's people have opinions about that too. You shouldn't jump back and forth. You shouldn't jump back and forth. And it's like, I just don't want, I'm so tired of the unsolicited advice. In preparation for research for this episode, y'all, I was trying to find stats on like how many women breastfeed versus how many people formula feed. This data, this stats. But over and over again, my search would yield like these back and forth versus conversations.
Right.
This is why breast milk is better. This is why you should bottle feed. This no. And just like, I just want raw data. I don't want the confrontational back and forth
Exactly.
what is best.
Like, where's the
Where are the
numbers?
numbers? Where are the numbers? I'm gonna try to find some more data, and I got it. I mean, I'm pretty sure I had to look hard enough to find it, but like maybe we can find it and post it for y'all. But I'm just over the conversation, you know.
Right. We need some numbers.
Yeah, yeah. The
We
goal
do.
is to have a healthy baby, and I think we're doing it. I think we're doing it just fine.
Hello, because Farrison is all of 20 pounds now. Like 20 pounds on formula. Okay. And my whole thing is another reason why I didn't like start out breastfeeding Farrison is because I've seen mothers who breastfeed their babies and they blow up instantly. Like the babies just get huge after you breastfeed. And I'm just like, damn, I really don't want my baby to like blow up like that. So I want him to grow like this way. My baby to be huge like that. And Farrison was already 8 pounds when he was born. So imagine if I would have breastfed him. Farrison probably would have been 12 pounds.
12-pound baby, right?
Girl, so it's like that whole situation. But anywho, Farrison is perfectly fine. He's perfectly healthy. He's a growing little boy. He's hitting his milestones, even though I believe milestones are bullshit. People stop putting that on people too. Babies are gonna develop as they develop.
Right.
But he's hit like all of those little things, like he's feeding well, he's not rejecting his bottles, like he's growing taller, well longer, like
Right.
formula is doing well in the Bundish household.
I think it's these one day people will back on these conversations be like, you know what, this is really stupid. These are really stupid conversations to be having because it's just doesn't move the needle forward at all. And like yeah, I don't know. I feel like it whatever works best. It really is. It's
Right.
not best is best. It's whatever works best for you is what it is.
I'm telling you. Do what's best for you, child. Don't let these people bully you into doing something. If you know for a fact that that's something that you don't want to do, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. You know what's best for your baby.
Right. Right.
You know what's best for your child.
Right. And I don't want anyone I think we're advocate. I'm not advocating for one method over the other. I'm not advocating for that. I'm advocating for you doing what's best for you and your child.
Right.
You know,
Right.
That's all we're saying. That is all we're saying at the end of the day. Breastfeeding has worked wonders for us. It has been such a good experience for me once I stopped relying on that damn pump so much and thinking I had to pump. And breastfeeding has become just one of those things that I'm happy I got a chance to experience. But like I told you guys, as soon as he cut his first tooth,
that's it.
That's it.
My nephew getting evicted.
Right. I have no qualms about it either. I have no qualms about it. I'm not gonna be having this dude.
Oh my god!
No, like nibbling on my nipple. He already bites down on it, and it just sends me. It's just so painful. So like, I can't imagine him doing that with teeth. And like I said, this is a decision that just good for me and my family. It's just what we're gonna do.
There you go.
No.
And that's it. It's a good decision for whomever it is. If they made that decision, then best believe they've already thought about the pros and the cons of that too. So, yeah, child. Mamas, keep doing what y'all doing, child, whether that's breastfeeding or formula feeding. As long as your baby is healthy, as long as he cries every morning when he wakes up.
Yep.
As long as he's shitting all day, every day.
Yep.
Your baby is fine.
Baby's totally fine. Baby is fine. They make sure they're eating, they're keeping that sustenance down. You know, they're showing a healthy, interesting, like want to eat as well. I think it's important just to show interest in food and interest in their food source. As long as that shit's happening, you're doing good. Shit.
Right.
You know?
Child, please don't let these people bully you into breastfeeding. It is what it is.
Right. And by the same token, don't let anyone tell you you shouldn't be breastfeeding, you should be bottle feeding. I have a neighbor who said her mom told her when she was growing up that breastfeeding was filthy and that she shouldn't be doing it and that she should be formula feeding. And so she never breastfed her kids because her family associated with being filthy. That's not true either. It's just that's an
That
outrageous.
is so ignorant.
And it's like, and again, it's one more thing that fucks over your mind, like y'all do what works best for you. If you want to experiment and start out on the formula, but maybe you want to experiment, do some breastfeeding, just try it. There literally are no rules to this, y'all. Just do it.
That is so ignorant.
Isn't that
Why would
crazy?
you tell somebody that?
Isn't that crazy to say that it's dirty? Like that's I've never heard it before. I heard a lot of things about breastfeeding, like a valid concerns about breastfeeding in terms of like your kid latching on, are they getting enough sustenance, all that jazz. But I have never heard anyone say like breastfeeding is actually dirty. No, it really isn't dirty at all.
I can't believe somebody actually said that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's interesting. Wow. Just wow.
It's out there.
Wow.
It is out there. On that note, on that weird ass note.
Right. On that weird ass note, child, mommies out there, y'all are doing amazing. Breastfeeding or formula, once again.
Yep.
We're not here to shame anybody about your decisions to do so. Do whatever is best for you and your baby.
Right.
At the end of the day.
And then don't let anyone bully you into anything. Don't let anyone shame you into anything.
Exactly.
You got this.
We hate that shit. Boob bullying. Get the fuck off my
Boob
breast.
bullying.
Get the hell off my breast. Please stop it. But yeah, y'all. So I guess that's it what we have for this week's episode. Ashley, you got some final remarks for the folks?
Let me think. Nope. As always, we want to hear what y'all think about the episode and what we're doing, what we're saying. Join the conversation. You guys can like, subscribe. What I'm missing something. Like, subscribe,
like, comment, subscribe
all
on
that.
YouTube.
Do all that, please, y'all. We want to hear your opinions on this for sure. We know y'all mamas out there have been through it, so interact with us. Let us know what you think. We posted a schedule of our upcoming episodes for the rest of the season, so please stay engaged and stay tuned for those. We have some treats for you guys coming up here in the next few weeks, so stay connected, please. And that's it.
What she said. So, with that being said, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. And we will see y'all in the next one.
Yes.
So,
bye, friends.
Bye, y'all.